I remember that day after the car accident, I was sitting in the hospital, and my mom is the most understanding and caring woman ever. And I remember she was upset with me, obviously, but she came in and she said, you know what, one day you're going to see this as a blessing in disguise.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of A Life Worth Living. I'm Sophia Silva.
And I'm Jason Wahler. Our guest today is the founder and CEO of The Fit Life, which focuses on organizational health. However, the journey that got her there was in no way healthy. Please welcome Kendra.
Hi, guys.
Hey, thank you for coming on.
Thanks
Appreciate
for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about the background of what The Fit Life is?
Yeah, so The Fit Life, we design, implement, and manage wellness programs for corporations, so basically programs that get employees healthy in the workplace. Mm-hmm. I knew I always wanted to help people with their health, nutrition, fitness, stress, getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, and I figured the best place to do that is a place where you have a ton of people all together and they spend a majority of their day there, so it's the best place to make the most impact. So that's...
What got you into doing this? Was there a thing personally that it happened, or?
Yeah. During high school, I put on a bunch of weight, like 50 pounds heavier than I am now.
Really?
Yes. And I tried dieting myself. I tried all the different fad things that you could do, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, and finally I just decided nothing was sustainable.
Why did you gain so much weight?
So it was definitely a combination of things. My dad is Mr. Health. He's a vegan, and so when I was growing up, I didn't get Lucky Charms. I got bran flakes, and so I had...
She's like, here's water with some more water, with a side of water.
So I never got soda. I never got any of that. So when I got my driver's license, I discovered Taco Bell and McDonald's
That's
and
horrible.
all of that. So I had freedom.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, and then another thing too was I started drinking, and that was a big thing too. That
drinking and Taco Bell go hand in hand.
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely.
Those were the days. So what were the steps you took, for you to overcome this? Because that's a great question to bring up. Appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah.
But what was the steps you took to make that transition?
So in terms of changing my health behaviors, it was things like, just the first thing of going to the gym. I was a water polo player. I was always an athlete. So when I stopped playing, the weight definitely started coming back on. So going and finding things that I liked doing, I found out I really liked kickboxing, and I really liked Taekwondo and all of these
different... These are like two peas in a pod.
I know, right? I'm like,
So finding things I like to do, being more active, getting enough sleep, that's actually a huge one. Drinking a lot of water. A lot of people don't find sleep and water to be connected to your weight, but it really is. And then just making little changes, like cutting out a couple Taco Bell things throughout the week. And I always give the example of ordering egg whites with your omelet instead of full eggs. So just making little switches.
It's those little things that they add up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It does make a big difference. And you said with drinking, did you ever have an issue with drinking?
Yes, I had a huge issue from the time I was 15 to when I got sober at 21. So I had
so it started at 15?
Yes.
Okay, and when did the weight gain come on?
Right around 15.
Right around 15? Okay.
Yeah, with the Del Taco runs. I'm just
kidding.
Did it start socially and then it developed into a problem, or was it always a problem from the start?
It was definitely a problem from the start, but it was always social. I just drank differently, I think, from the first time I drank.
Can you explain? I understand that, and we do, but for some of the viewers, when you say I drink differently, what's your definition of that for yourself?
Yeah, even the first time I drank, it was a weird story, but I was with my friend's mom, who was supposedly a recovering alcoholic.
Oh, boy.
And it turns out she wasn't, because she bought us bottles of Boone's Farm, and I drank, and she made a comment about how much I drank from the get-go at 15. And just little things, people commenting about how much I drank. I was the first of my group of friends to black out from drinking, and so that
You remember when you had, roughly when you started to black out?
15.
Right away?
Right away.
Damn, that was,
Yeah.
it took me. Yeah, I was like 18, 19.
right off the get-go. And
how much were you drinking at, roughly?
I never really kept track. I was a shot girl, so I don't know.
Is there a history of alcoholism in your family?
No, I have people kind of scattered in my family, but my dad...
But nothing directly.
My dad doesn't drink. Huh. My mom's one of those 2 glasses of wine and, ooh, I'm tipsy, I need to stop.
What about your grandparents or...
No,
Uncles,
not that I'm.
cousins?
I have a couple cousins on my mom's side and some people scattered on my dad's side, but no one direct. So my parents were
genetic
like,
for
whoa.
sure. So it's funny how it's skipped. I mean, because like for me, it's hit like 18 out of like the 24, and then there's situations where it's like a cousin or somebody else. But it skipped my mom and dad, but it hit me, my brother, my uncles, my aunt, and it's crazy though to see how it pans out in each different family.
Yeah, so it was I never had alcohol in the house growing up, so it was very surprising.
Whatever you were deprived
So when you got your liberty, you just went,
I just went
all out to the wall.
Yes.
I kind of did that too. Yeah.
So then going to the next thing, just following through the story real quick is, so 15 to 21. Mm-hmm. So is that when everything changed at 21? Did you focus on everything being changed, or did you focus on the diet and stuff, even though you were still drinking?
The diet came before the drinking. I actually started the Fit Life before I got sober. So
oh, wow.
Did you realize it was a problem?
We're
Look at it at 15 when you're blacking out. That is a huge sign that you have alcoholism.
Yeah.
Blacking out is like normal people don't black out.
The first time I heard that was after I got sober.
Yeah.
And I said, I wish
But
I
that's
would
as
have known
simple-
that 6 years earlier.
I didn't know that either until my 10th rehab, ninth. But I would have been much more helpful than the DARE program. Do not do drugs. You just say no.
Yeah, that doesn't work. They already researched that.
Yeah, well, clearly.
DARE's gone.
Yeah.
This program is brought to you by
Anaheim Stoneworks, the company that has taken all the obstacles out of your way. From start to finish, Anaheim Stoneworks takes care of each and every step to give your home the unique look that you've been dreaming of. Anaheim Stoneworks. Quality from start to finish.
Master Toddy LA Training Center offers authentic Muay Thai training with locations in Bangkok, Pomona, and Anaheim. For more information, visit mastertoddyla.com.
So the first time I was confronted about me having a drinking problem was 17 by my mom. My mom came up to me and said, I think you have a problem. And so I was in denial, I think, up until I knew I drank differently. I didn't think there was necessarily, I always thought I'd mature out of it. I thought I'd hit 30 and be able to drink Cosmos like a lady. And
Like a lady?
I kept doing that too, but after like the 5th arrest, I was like, okay, there's probably a problem here.
Wait. What is drinking Cosmos like a lady?
I don't know. But
Just let her enjoy.
I was the 15, going on 30. I just thought once I hit
That's
30,
really funny.
I'd mature and everything would be fine.
I love it.
That
So,
doesn't happen.
for the drinking, how long have you been sober now?
I'll be 3 in January.
No way.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's huge. And then you graduated college.
I graduated college, was 4 months sober.
Oh, so you made it all the way through college.
I got sober the week before my last semester of college.
Wow.
And I was doing
That's
well
impressive.
in college. I was on the dean's list. I was getting almost straight A's even through drinking.
Yeah.
So you got sober at 21. Mm-hmm. So from there, how did this all come together going into what you've started now? So obviously you've utilized and tied in a lot of your own personal truths and experiences through this process, and saw what worked for you and have implemented into the business you've started now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So can you get us to that point, how that transition happened from getting sober into wanting to start?
I was the girl sitting on the balcony of a bar, drunk, smoking a cigarette, talking about how I'm starting a wellness business.
Dude, you're the best marketing piece ever. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hey, but it's good. You're like the poster child for it,
Yeah. So that was me before.
That's good. I had the vision. That was funny.
Yeah. And so I kept building up this company into what I thought it could be, but I had no consistency when I was drinking, so it would all crash back down. So I really was never able to make any progress or growth. Once I got sober and finally learned to open my mind and open my ears and realize that.
What was it? When you're not clear-headed, your frontal cortex, it doesn't operate correctly. It ruins the way, especially with alcoholics and addicts. The brain functions do not operate correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I had a lot of shame being around my parents, too.
Of course,
so I had a hard time even being in a room with them because I knew what I was doing and they knew part of what I was doing. And so I didn't take advantage of the mentorship that my dad can provide until I got sober. And that's really when we were able to start this.
Huge. You
Well, when
mentioned
you're not okay, you can't accept help. It's so difficult. And you are in shame.
Well, it's what you nailed the key word. I always say it's a disease of denial, and just being in denial, and we're believing everything that we're saying. It gets to a point where you start believing almost anything that you're saying, and you start believing in that model, and obviously that's the insanity portion of it. It keeps taking you back to the same spot.
I had so many instances where even when I tell my story now, some people say, how in the world did you not understand that drinking was a problem?
Well, I'm curious if there were any signs, like, prior to you getting sober that were red flags for you.
Oh, yeah. I had...
Other than blacking out.
Well, that was, the blacking out. I got to a point, I think right around, if I can track it back, about 17, where I was unable to drink without blacking out. It happened more often than not. And I got into a car accident. I crashed into the Long Beach airport in my car.
Shut up. Oh
Wait,
my
Yeah,
God.
I mean, it's not funny, but it's, no one was hurt. Everything was
Thank
okay.
God.
But yes.
That's so scary.
I crashed into the outside fence of the Long Beach airport at 17 years old.
Yeah.
And,
Well, it's like you see those, like, the incidents that happen like that,
Yeah.
And that's where the thinking of that, it's like, from an outsider, especially being in a clear state of mind for us, it's like, obviously, we see the issue with that.
Yeah.
But, like, when you're in it, you're able, even after the few days after, you'll be able to justify. That's like the denial. You'll be able to be like,
Exactly.
dude, that happens to that person, that happens to that person. It's like, the reality of that, though, is it's after it happens more than once with something like that, you got to be able to look at that. I think it's important for that.
Yeah, and the scariest thing, I remember being in the hospital that morning and waking up and my mom being there, and I knew in my heart I wasn't done. I knew
you weren't ready to stop,
I was not ready to stop.
Yeah.
I knew it, and so I had many, broken teeth, stitches. I got physically
girl.
hurt a lot.
What was the moment of change? What was that clarity?
So January 7th, 2013 was my day, and it's nothing that bad happened. Like, I had so many more instances where it would have made a lot more sense for me to say, I'm done.
Like a bottom, right?
Like a bottom.
See-
But it was, I woke up at my parents' house, which I didn't fall asleep at my parents' house, so I was from another blackout. And my mom walked in that morning, and I realized I needed to figure out a lie or a story as to why I did this or why it happened, and I finally realized that I had nothing left. I had no more lies, nothing else to say. I was done. I was so tired. I was lying to everyone, lying to myself, and I just was tired. And I said the words, "I need help," which I have no idea where it came from, but I said the words, "I need help," and I started crying, and my mom said, "I know you need help," and
I just got goosebumps.
it was crazy. Like, I didn't think about sobriety January 6th. Sobriety was not on my radar up until that day, and then from that day on, I haven't.
So from there, you ended up, did you go to treatment, or?
I decided, I did an outpatient treatment just because I was in my last semester of school. I wasn't quite ready to give up school, and I really felt like I was struck sober. I didn't feel, like, my first couple months of sobriety, by all means, I should have not stayed sober because I was living by myself in downtown Huntington Beach, which is 2 minutes away from all the bars. I would still go out with old friends and sit at the bar and drink water. So I was not in a safe spot, but I was so committed to staying
good.
sober, and I knew that this is what I had to do. So I did a 90-day outpatient program, and that was really the main.
Well, look at what you've been able to do with, the stuff that you had to deal with in the past and how you've implemented it for good now. I mean, that's why I
Totally for
love
good.
working in this
Yeah.
field. I mean, just seeing that transformation of what you were able to do with, the life that you were set out to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's so amazing, and, congrats on the sobriety
Thank
time, too. There's something that you would want to say, just as like a closing statement, if you could say one last thing, just kind of what you might have learned that you'd like to give them, just maybe they could relate to.
Yeah. So I remember that day after the car accident, I was sitting in the hospital, and my mom is the most understanding and caring woman ever. And I remember she was upset with me, obviously, but she came in and she said, "You know what? One day you're going to see this as a blessing in disguise. We don't know how. I have no idea when it's going to happen, but someday you're going to see it." And that's been such a lesson the past, before I got sober, like, every hard thing that I went through has come out in a way to help other people now. And so that's like the biggest thing I ever got out of. So now I always remember if I'm going through something that sucks,
I love that.
whether it's a breakup in sobriety, or anything like that, I always know that it's going to come out on the other side in a way that's positive. And so
Much more. Yeah, it's there's
love
always a
that.
bigger,
That's
better
perfect.
benefit. That's
Yeah.
awesome. You killed it, dude. That was fun.
That was
that's
good.
blue.
That was good. Good job.
Thank you.
If you like the show, please subscribe to my channel, Sophia Silva, and follow me on Instagram or hit like on my Facebook page. And thank you for watching.
All conversation and information exchange during participation in the sophiasilva.org website, Sophia Silva YouTube channel, or interaction with and all social media sites is intended for information and entertainment purposes only, and should not be considered a professional diagnosis or treatment. Do not confuse this information with treatment or medical advice or directions per se. Nothing posted on this site supplements or supersedes the direction of your medical caretakers. Sophia Silva, MA, does not provide the information on these pages to substitute for individualized therapy. No claim to cure, treat, diagnose, or otherwise provide mental or behavioral health care is guaranteed, promised, or implied by this site. The same applies to any professionals who might appear on this site. This website contains links to other websites and resources. We take no responsibility for the content of other resources, electronic or written. If you're in need of any health services, please contact a licensed professional or call 911.